Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, right on. And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What's good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized, they dispersed us, they enslaved our people, they sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The Coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. They were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
You can't control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like trick!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, "Brother Greg, you coming by today?" And I said, "Malcolm, I love you." And I said, "I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there." He said, "What do you mean, Brother Greg?" I said, "Well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East." And I said, "But I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you."
Welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. Man, you don't know what it takes to get a show off. Try to come on earlier, but you know what they did? They sabotaged it, right? So I'm here now trying to perform the show that I had prepared for you earlier. So again, welcome to the Black Man's News, Black Minds TV, and I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. And let me say first and foremost to my subscribers that should be in the house, what's good, fam? You know what it takes for me to get a show off. You know I like to y'all appreciate by hitting that like button, dislike, comment. Passerbyers, welcome. This is always a grand opening over here. Go down the aisle, see something you like, hit that like button. See something you don't like, you hit that dislike button. If you want to say something in the comments, say, "Mr. Blow Your Mind, I think you full of BS," that's all good too. Agents, or whatever, right? So we ain't gonna get no acknowledgement today because y'all do what y'all do. Got everything all hacked up, and I mean, just what y'all do, man. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna talk about y'all tonight. We're gonna get off. So let me get this spiel off right quick. Yeah, hello and welcome to the Black Minds News. I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this channel is to report, transmit, communicate, articulate, relate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether it comes from news, video, websites, or quotes from publications. As I, your whiteologist, go ahead and try to articulate these information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, present, heart, mind, soul, and spirit, because the truth don't need no partner. And you know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Man, I tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like people do things, try to frustrate you. You don't really frustrate you. You just, you know, again, what they tell you, those saying is, whatever don't kill you, make you stronger, right? So, you know, you just make me get better at what you're doing. You know, make me learn the game and to be that much more and expertise at what I do. So as I, you know, notice that again, there's so much going on. Again, a lot of people are focused on one aspect. But again, I'm going to talk about not per se that. We're going to talk about what everybody looked left, what you should have been looking right, right? And so, you know, You know how I got to do it, man. This is what I do. I disseminate the information of the news. Again, a lot of that stuff is just public information, but I have my little spin on my dissertation to it. And so, again, I want to thank y'all for those who came out here tonight. Again, ain't too much to watch out there, is it? A lot of shows done fell off. I wonder what done happened. I guess they're working on to get me up out of the game, but I already took my hiatus before. So now I'm just out here doing it. But again, you have to say, how does a show that has 2.9 subscribers can only get past 100, 200 views? What is it that Mr. Blow Your Mind is doing that they must suppress? You're going to figure it out one of these days. So anyway, we're going to start the show off. Again, you know, I'll be doing some searching again. Everybody is kind of like, what's going on with this government, man, right? What's really going on, right? You have the shutdown of the government. You know what I'm saying? People who are employed for the government, people who are needing the assistance of the government. And right around the corner's coming, people think about their income tax and that refund, right? So this one here I seen, I was like, okay, so again, you know, they're going to propagate this because, again, people are, you know what I'm saying, trying to make ends meet. You know, people are in certain situations, and so they're trying to make, you know, bridges to try to do some things to try to make, you know, till they could get to the next one. So I seen this little story, but you know how I do it. Look like a freezing over here. Boy, you're really working me, huh? I see you what you're doing, man. You know, then over here trying to DOS attack me, man. That's weak. It's weak, man. It's really weak what you're doing, but you keep on doing what you're doing, Chief. You do what you do. That's your hate in your heart because, again, you ain't got nothing else in life. You can do nothing but be a hater, right? So you go ahead and keep doing that. Go on, keep on doing it. Show your fangs, right? We know who you is. You don't get no love from over here. You can only keep on being hate. That makes me greater for every time you do what you do. Don't you understand that? Guess you ain't figured that out yet. Huh? The most suppressed, the most hated show in the Black Corner internet. We don't be over here talking about nobody. We don't get in that bickering and talking about all that stuff. We don't talk about all that stuff that's whatever everybody else talking about. We focus on what is out here and what's relevant. We can have applications, what aspects of this that you can glean from. Again, like fish, eat the fish and spit the bone, right? So that's how we do it over here. So again, let me go ahead and shut up with this little video right here. We'll be right back. Let me go ahead and do what I do. And again, let's get it.
Oh, right now I just accepted a Uber ride. All right, so I'm gonna turn my lights on and let's bounce.
Aaron McLaughlin is new to Uber.
Basically made $5.47. You can get 4 or 5 trips done an hour. You know, you can make $25 an hour, whatever it is. That adds up. You work 4 hours, you know, you make $100 in a day. You know, that'll pay a bill.
Up until a couple weeks ago, the $58,000 a year he makes as an officer at the federal prison in Mendota, California, was enough to support him and his family. But because of the shutdown, McLaughlin won't get a paycheck next week.
It's gut-wrenching. I picked up a secondary job driving Uber. Is it embarrassing? Yeah, it is. I'm a federal employee, but yet I've got to kind of sink down a little bit and say, you know what? I've got to swallow my pride, and I've got to get behind the wheel of my little car, and I've got to drive around and shuttle people around like a taxi cab driver, just so I know that when I don't get paid next week and my mortgage is due, or my food, I got to put food on the table, or PG&E's going to cut off my power for lack of payment. I've got to have something there.
The Federal Bureau of Prisons employs 40,000 workers nationwide, most of whom are deemed essential. That means they still have to go to work during a shutdown. They're just not going to be paid until it's over. McLaughlin and his colleagues at other Central California prisons say prison staff are already stretched.
How is the government shutdown and the fact that you're not getting a paycheck affecting you guys on a daily basis?
I live paycheck to paycheck, so this has a huge impact on me. And in the next few weeks, I'm going to be struggling.
This is my third shutdown in 7 years. I am a payer of child support, and I'm glad to do so. It, takes care of my daughter, but I can't make that payment. It's so inhumane. Their response to that is they put recommendations. Call your landlord, you know, ask if you could mow the lawn for rent, you know. I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't a suggestion to prostitute yourself on there. You know what I mean? That's how degrading it was.
How is the shutdown affecting your colleagues and sort of the prisons more broadly?
Gosh, I get probably 15 to 20 calls a day from my members with issues that this is causing. It goes anywhere from can't pay their mortgages, can't pay their bills, the late payment fees, to the medical issues. We have some staff members battling cancer right now. Their medical bills are racking up. They can't pay them. Are they going to still be able to receive treatment? Traveling. I work in a place where a lot of people travel a great distance. I travel an hour and 15 minutes to get to work every day. So I average about $500 a month in gas. I know personally I can't afford the gas once the shutdown goes in the long term. The majority of staff are in the same boat.
Everybody's scared. They don't know what the hell's going on because this is different than 2013. We all went through the 2013 shutdown and it was 16 days. There was a different sense in Washington. They wanted to reopen. There's not that sense right now.
I think also that on the Hill that there's notions that we're overpaid. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of these people are not willing to help us, because somebody up there in the Hill is telling them that we're all good and we don't need any help.
Well, I want to ask you about that actually, because the president seems to maybe believe that too. And he said, this is more important than a paycheck. You know, federal workers would tell me to keep going.
I was very insulting.
Yeah, I completely disagree.
I'm a veteran. I fought in Iraq. I've served my country. I've taken life for this country. And you ran on that campaign. You said, quote, I'm going to take care of the veterans and I'm going to take care of law enforcement. Yeah, I haven't seen it. With all due respect to the President of the United States, I have not seen it.
Earlier this year, we received a whole bunch of immigration detainees. And this was part of his zero tolerance policies. We didn't ask for it. We didn't want it. And now the things that we're getting from the president is no paycheck. It's disgraceful. And the fact that, my opinion, is that if he's going to go up there and speak on that behalf of federal employees, come to Victorville, see us, and listen to us before you speak on our behalf.
Were you guys all Trump supporters in 2016?
I actually voted for him based on his campaign promise that he was going to take care of law enforcement and veterans.
And the working man.
And he's let me down.
I supported Trump with the basis of, you know, you watch his campaigning and he says, I'm for the American worker. I want better border security. And then as his presidency started going on, I'm sitting back thinking, okay, now you're backpedaling on what you said. You want to drain the swamp. And my whole thing in the beginning was when you drain the swamp, you're talking about the politicians. As we speak right now in Washington, D.C., congressmen and senators are still getting paid. They're not affected by this shutdown. They still get their paychecks.
Do you guys all want a wall?
I'll go out on the limb. I'll say we work in a prison. We work within walls.
Walls work.
And
walls work.
Well, I'll say this much. A wall is a tool. If you don't have the staff inside of it and you're not paying your staff, you're not doing those things, the walls don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Period. Agreed. So if this is all just about a wall, it's gonna fail, in my opinion. But if he's gonna staff and pay the people and put the right equipment on the walls, the cameras, whatever what we have inside the prisons, it could be a tool that could be effective.
I support building a wall, but I don't support shutting the government down and not paying people because it's over here, it's a pissing contest.
You can have the tallest wall in the world, but if you don't have the staff, why not try to compromise? Why not say, you know what, let's increase Border Patrol. Let's rotate National Guard units in, and let's see if that works.
It sounds like you might be in favor of a wall. A wall might be a good idea, but it's not worth it at this point.
No, not at my check. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think it's worth shit if I can't feed my family.
All right, so we see that, I guess we could say white men are having some problems with not getting the check. Still got a job, right? Making $58,000, basically the house DOS, right? You got all, again, we are primarily the biggest population that is incarcerated, right? And there's a lot of, look at the assets for people who locking us up in the jobs. And right then here is the overseer, right? Him not getting paid, right? Talking about 16 days in 2013, he didn't get no check, and you know, and it's all about this lack of money, right? And that, again, the promises is about veterans and law enforcement. Well, I guess, you know, again, as he said, the wall is a tool, right? He said the wall is a tool, and so without the employees to be demands to it, then what good is your wall? Veterans being that who do what? The dirty work, again, corporation work. The government has its agendas and protecting resources, right? Okay, and then you have the other one that's taking care of housing those that you don't want to be out here anyway. Again, housing them, again, as one video I had put out there, again, as into, you know, you can, they made it like a brochure. You can go to be incarcerated, get 3 hots in the cot, you got a good-ass job, you know what I'm saying? You're never late for work. You got good medical. They made it sound all good. And here's the ones that actually get to babysit this one because you get no check for a little bit while you feeling the pinch. Well, let me tell you something. Being a DOS in this land, some of us can't even get a job. You got a job. $58,000, you still able to get Uber, right? You was still, with that $58,000 able to go get you a little ride and turn it and make you some money. Well, some of us are suffering. Whether the shutdown or not, we ain't getting no checks. Some of us might be getting assistance. I see a lot of people who hip hooray because some people are not be able to get their check. Let me tell you something. You get some kind of money from this government, I don't care how you pimping it. Based on what our people have gone through in this land, you entitled to it. I don't care what all these people are talking all this shit. Everybody like to talk about something. Oh, you know, people lazy and just living in welfare queen. Well, shit, what about my ancestors? I think we put in enough money that, again, that's just like a tip. Ordering out, driver comes, leave a tip. That's all that is really a tip compared to the interest. You can't even pay the interest. So, again, I'm just saying that, again, the shutdown is having this effect. But I just seen this and I was like, wow, boy, I mean, just a little bit. Boy, what about when your existence had been this and, you know, we're striving to put together, trying to get economics and get people so that we can have some, you know, ideal about some things to come so we can set for prosperity, right? But we still need unification. We still need all those things. But here you is, because the uniform that you wear, right, you on the team, so there's always an avenue for you. Well, again, a little bit of, you know, old saying is, if they get a little cold, we going to get pneumonia, right? So they're starting to quake in their boots a little bit. Boy, this is going a little bit too long. Well, all they want you to say is, we'll pay for it, right? That's basically, this is just a squeeze game, right? Squeezing everybody so that you can say, okay, enough is enough, right? You took enough, right? Torture move, right? You know, a little bit. You mean to tell me, okay, up until this time, I guess you've been paying your mortgage and stuff or whatever, you know, rent or whatever that is. A little bit of payment. Again, you can work out something. Again, you work for the government. I'm pretty sure they know that, right? But, you know, a little pressure, right? We who've been under the frying pan a lot longer know that, you know, a few days, a month, sometimes we play in the red just to keep ourselves afloat. I ain't know how. Again, they have to always make it, because I sure didn't see nobody black. Where was the black COs at? They don't count. It's always about your pain, right? Okay, well, okay, all right. We get it. We get it. So we're going to move on, right? You know, I ain't going to elaborate too much. I make the dichotomy. I make the difference between one side and the other. So everybody get a little bit of, you know, get in a, you know, get all dewy-eyed and teared-eyed because they're going through a little bit. What we've been going through for a long time, right? We have a lot of people who are in this corner. Again, a lot of people seem to be taking off, and you know, some things going on. There's a lot of things in the background that's going on, but you know, people who are out here who advocate about finances and trying to get young brothers on a objective to make some moves, to make some things. But again, clock is ticking. There's a lot of things happening. And for myself, I have another way how I'm looking at it. But again, you don't disseminate that on here. So, as the one in this black corner who brought out the white extinction. Y'all remember that? That's what a lot of y'all end up coming over here, right? Remember in that white extinction video, it talked about that one part was talking about they need to get out and make more babies. Remember that? More babies. They need more babies. Well, I seen this today, and I was like, oh, shit. Oh, they really doing it, huh? Unbeknownst, another one aspect of it, they trying to say, well, we need to do birth control, but in this aspect here, they not talking about no birth control. Well, what you talking about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Let me show what I'm talking about. Check this out, and I'll be right back. Check this out.
Finally tonight, a baby boom inside one hospital, but it's not exactly what you might think. A baby boom of births at St. Cloud Hospital in Minnesota. Only this time, the record number of births weren't from patients, but from women who worked there. 30 staff members gave birth to 31 babies. And get this, all those employees work inside the birthing center.
Hi.
One of them, Nurse Sam Schwartz, holding Adelaide, baby number 25.
We got a lot of comments all the time asking, oh, I just saw one pregnant person, now there's another one. Oh, and there's another one.
With new babies nearly every week, it was hard to keep a tally.
You'd walk down the hallways and there was bellies everywhere. Everybody was like, holy cow, there's another one.
In all, 15 boys and 16 girls. The first baby, a boy named Mario. The first baby girl, born in March. Her name is Josie. Number 9 and number 10 belong to Nurse Danielle Strohmeyer. She gave birth to twins, Evelyn and Eleanor. Number 19 was Kaysen, born in August. And number 26, Tyson, born in October.
If we try and do a play date, this is going to be pure chaos.
Nurse Dawn Henderson was the last of the medical staff to give birth on Christmas Day.
A while back, they had 15 or 17 and 1 year, and that was a lot for them.
Doctors, nurses, and staff all connected by the miracle of life.
It was awesome. I mean, it's awesome having so many people expanding their families all at the same time and having all these little peanuts together in one room. It's incredibly heartwarming, and it really is a second family.
And awesome is right. We'll see if they break the record in 2019. Congrats to all those new moms. We thank them for sharing their stories, and we thank you for watching. I'm Tom Yamas in New York, GMA First Thing in the Morning. David's right back here tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Good night.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
All right, so it says 30 hospital staffers give birth to 31 babies in Minnesota. You know I'm going to say that again. 30 hospital staffers give birth to 31 babies in Minnesota. Story was done today, or yesterday, it was posted yesterday, January the 7th, 2019. Come from News 8. And this is what it says. It says a baby boom is underway at a hospital in Minnesota. It's not from the patient, it's from the women who worked there. 2018, St. Cloud Hospital, 30 hospital staffers gave birth to 31 babies. And all of those women worked in the hospital birthing center. Basically everything that was said in that video, right? The last baby of the year was born on Christmas Day, and they aren't done yet. The staff are already expecting at least 12 babies in 2019. All right, so again, as you see on your screen there, I don't see them talking about any sisters on there. All right? It looks like somebody over there might be a little bit of color. They might be kind of Indian, and you know an Indian is, well, what they would say, well, Indo-European, so pretty much it would be Caucasian, right? To be the homeland of the Caucasian. So, again, as they're always talking about birth control and about having people quelling down and not having so many babies, but it looks like these particular people are looking to have more babies, about more prosperity, because again, as I did the video going back to about 2014, right? And about 5 years ago when I brought out the white extinction, right? That they had to hit 250,000 views. They stopped that video and well, it's still active, but it's like they won't count no numbers, right? They took off all the comments, because I could have made a video just on the comments, because boy, the stuff that was being said over there, I was going to make a video on it, but they shut all that down. It's I can't get no numbers. And then they said, well, they're going to keep the restriction on, because I've been fighting in the background about that, right? But I'm like, well, what did I say? What did I say? Was there anything that I said in that video that was not true? It was stuff that they had purported, right? And so everything that was said in there, and again, about them making a baby boom and trying to get the numbers up. Well, isn't it ironic that 30 employees or staffers decided, let's get pregnant? I wonder if this has a lot to do with in vitro. Are they, artificially inseminating them, right? Because I don't see no men. I know everybody talking about the babies and what. We'll assume there's not immaculate conception. So I'm pretty sure they're having babies. So, again, there's one aspect to the equation where they're trying to make more babies due to the decline in population. And that which the number keeps, for some odd reason, 13, 14%, one can only stay. It is like we not having, even though, again, people will keep telling us that we are losing a lot of ours, but we keep replenished at those, if not twofolds or threefolds, right? And so our number never seems to fluctuate higher. It seems to always stay at a particular number, right? So these individuals are trying to, again, economics is probably not going to be their issue, right? Again, we don't see, like we seen in the last video, where, those would be of the lower level of the team, right? That's the lower level of the team. And they might be having to struggle again, 58,000, right? Wow, struggling, right? The difference between somebody who made 58,000 on that side versus somebody on this side, they can live a lot better. Because, see, the old saying used to say, you'll never let them come over your house. Because, see, you can work with them. And a lot of times you don't even be knowing what your coworkers be making, right? Your counterpart, let's say, you don't be knowing what they be making, right? But if you bring them to your house and let's find out that you don't make as much of them, but the way you live, we're going to have a problem with you. Because, see, again, we could take lemons and make lemonade and marmalade and, all kind of other stuff, right? And so somebody with $58,000 is struggling. Now, again, I'm not saying that's a lot of money. But again, if you come from where I come from and you make $58,000, you could do a little bit of something. You could, you know what I'm saying? You can do a little something with it. I'm not saying this to all be all, but again, you could do something. But these are people that struggle. But money is never, you don't see them out in the street talking about, oh, we don't have jobs and we ain't getting money. That's never their issue, right? You never see that's part of their issue. So them producing and bringing life in, economically, well, there's always going to be a facet for them. So they can sit and they can do and try to bring up the numbers, and then on you, they're trying to tell you get rid of it. Matter of fact, there are people that will what? They will donate to those Planned Parenthoods. If you don't have the money to have an abortion, they have people who will donate to them so that you can go in there for free, right? They ain't making the laws now where you can actually be, let's say, 16, and you don't have to tell your parents, right? Non-consent, non-comparative consent, right? So again, let's look at that. One, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander, right? So, that's how it is, right? You know how it is. Again, I let you see that. Again, to see. If you're seeing that there's a whole, that means there is a back room, smoke room about that kind of stuff. And then I guess somebody decided, well, we all work at the hospital. Why don't we... it's kind of like, what was her name? What was that? Nadia. Remember her, the one that had about 9, 10, 13 babies at one time? Remember her? Wasn't it something mom? Octo Mom. That was her name, right? See, that was, that's going to happen pretty soon. You're going to find out after a while they're going to be starting to do that. They're going to be having 7, 8, 9 at one damn time because they're trying to repopulate, right? So again, just bringing that out there, right? So on the flip side to this, check this flip side out. Now check this out. Just imagine this here, right? Again, I have to give it to you there on this side. Because, see, some people might say, well, why, Mr. Blow, you showing it? Well, see, I have to take the experience from here, and then I will make a bridge and tie it when it's appropriate, right? Otherwise, just observe what you're seeing, right? Because sometimes some people don't believe what they see. You're so used to looking at the news and seeing yourself posted up there that you become a lot of people that don't even want to watch that no more, right? So over here, we kind of be non-biased. We show everything, right? We don't discriminate, right? We EEOC over here. So check this out. So I seen this story here, and I was like, wow. Just imagine that, boy. I don't think there's a sister in the country. I don't think you could have got to the courtroom after you pulled this mess. I think, I don't know what family would allow you to get to the courtroom. Well, check this out. We'll be right back another show. Let's see how this works. Check this out. Check this out.
The courtroom packed with family and friends of the baby that Marissa Tietzort is accused of killing, all wanting justice for Benson.
Look at that. They is holding me up.
Charges today and start the process, and we were glad for the victim's family that we could move forward.
Disturbing details coming out of court documents. A criminal complaint filed just today says the mom dropped off the baby at Tietzort around 4 p.m. on October 18th. However, when the mom picked up baby Benson hours later, documents say Tietzort knew the 2-month-old boy was dead when she handed him over to his mom, and even admitted putting a hat over the baby's eyes so his mom wouldn't realize that her baby was dead when she picked him up. Tietzort is a mom of 5 herself and currently pregnant with her 6th. Documents say before baby Benson's mom picked him up, Tietzort placed the lifeless infant's body in a snowsuit and buckled him up in his car seat and drove to McDonald's with her son. She's already in jail on separate charges that she physically abused an 8-month-old back in August. Tietzort had a review hearing today for that case as well. Tietzort also requested her bond to be lowered, claiming she's not getting sufficient prenatal care in jail. In Wausau, Victoria Saha, News 9 WAOW.
All right. It says babysitter returned dead infant to mom after disguising him to look asleep. Police? You know I'm going to say that again. Babysitter returned dead infant to mom after disguising him to look asleep. Police said, right? This came in the Huffington Post. This was done January the 6th, 2019, and this is how it reads. A Wisconsin babysitter is facing murder charges after police say a 2-month-old boy died of blunt force in her care, and she then disguised the dead infant to make him look like he was sleeping before returning him to his mother. Authorities charged Marissa Tietzort, 28, of Wausau, Wisconsin, on Friday with first-degree intentional homicide over the death of the child, who they say suffered blunt force head injuries with multiple impacts to the head. They said Tietzort returned the infant to the mother knowing the boy was dead, according to the Wausau Daily Herald. The babysitter allegedly dressed the dead child in a snowsuit and fastened him into a car seat before going with her boyfriend to eat at a McDonald's, according to police. Later, when returning him to his mother, Tietzort allegedly pulled a winter hat over the child's eyes to hide the fact that he was deceased. It was after 9 p.m., so police say the mother thought it was perfectly normal for the child to be asleep. Tietzort, who has 5 children of her own, is currently pregnant in the Marathon County Jail, has a history of abusing children, according to the Daily Herald and public court records. Child Services removed 4 of those children from the custody and after boyfriend reported her abuse. Forensic pathologist Robert Corliss said aside from the injuries to the head, the victim's tailbone was fractured, broken off, and displaced, indicating a significant amount of force was used. Tietzort is being held on a $500,000 cash bond. Huh? Wow. Huh? Like I said, I don't think there's a black mama nowhere who would have been like, we going back there. That was, I mean, the conniving aspect of it, right? Think about it. Those who, you had your child and take it to the babysitter or take it to the daycare, and, around this time, wintertime, you get to put on the big old over, this little winter suit they got on, right? You know how they put the hair. You want to keep there. You want no colic, right? You want no colic on the baby, right? So you pull it over the eyes. Can you imagine that baby dead? Huh? You going to McDonald's, huh? But you got a history of this. Wait a minute. You understand? So it's like, damn. Like, really? sisters, come on now. Let me talk to you. Huh? Well, they didn't need to call no police with it. Well, been no, they call police on the corner, right? I ain't find baby dead. First of all, again, the shock. I'm pretty sure it, destroyed again the emotions. Right? You know what I'm saying? You again, the least speculation. Again, that was diabolical in the thought process to even set it up like that, right? Because now you have to contemplate. You're not thinking, well, damn, maybe he was dead. You had to go back over the step, but you going through too many emotions, right? So you be like, damn, hold on, man. But once you figured it out, that courtroom was packed, right? Like I said, I don't think you'd have got to the courtroom. You understand? So, again, man, the monstrosity that some people can go to level. And again, this stuff here is, don't put all that on, not going to put this on the mainstream news, right? Because again, because there's so many of them. But they're going to find eyes and throw eyes. And again, over here, I'm not biased. I will put a brother and sister. Sometimes you do some things and there's a lesson to be talked about. I will put you over there and be like, hey, okay, what's this shit here, though? What's going on here, right? But that shit right there, I'm pretty sure, again, get one more look at that. Get one more look at that. Look at the eyes of that, right? Get the eyes of that, man. So y'all out there, some of y'all just so willy-nilly to being so in love and infatuated with people. Better look at them eyes, right? So, let me look and see who out here, if I got some fam in the house. I got a couple people in the house, all right? Got a couple people in the house, that's good. Who I got in the house? I got Yaya Abu Kabir. One love, Pam, what we got? That's good, sir. All good, I love that, sir. They make about $80,000 a year. Talking about them the correctional officers. According to them, in that story, they said they made $58,000, right? So they real low budget, huh? They real low budget over there. All right, so let me see what else I got in the bag for y'all. Well, let's see here. Well, again, as I say, EEOC, equal opportunity for everybody, can get some. For those who might be saying, hey, you only always do it. No, sometimes, because I say a lesson got to be told, right? So I seen this story here. And was kind of wondering, you never know. There might be something more to it. But again, I'm going to show the story and be right back. Check it out.
How police tracked down two people accused of killing a Mesquite grandfather during a robbery. Brayshawn Jones and Shatoria Jefferson are in jail, charged with capital murder. Detectives say they gunned down Raul Garcia Torres in his own front yard. Fox Source James Rose is at the Lucero Justice Center with the story. James.
Well, Clarice, quick action and good solid police work appears to have provided the big break in this case. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, it was the victim's own cell phone that alerted police on the murder scene that someone was already fraudulently using the victim's credit card.
He took a lot from us, a lot. He doesn't know how much he really took from us. Material things just come and go, but he really took a lot. He took my mom's heart.
Family members of Raul Garcia Torres are struggling to make sense of his robbery and murder. The 50-year-old husband and grandfather was attacked in his Mesquite driveway last Thursday evening as he returned home from work. Mesquite police say 22-year-old Brayshawn Jones and 23-year-old Shatoria Jefferson are responsible for the capital murder. According to the Mesquite police affidavit, once arrested, Jones confessed to robbing, shooting, and killing the victim, Raul Garcia Torres. Jones stated Jefferson drove him away from the scene and then to Foot Locker, where he purchased multiple pairs of shoes. The affidavit says police were alerted to this Foot Locker store in the 3200 block of South Lancaster shortly after the robbery and murder because Garcia Torres's credit card fraud alerts were sounding on his cell phone still on the scene. Police quickly responded to the store and released this photo believed to be Brayshawn Jones wearing a Lucille Ball hoodie shopping in the store with Garcia Torres' credit cards. According to the affidavit, Jones's girlfriend, Shatoria Jefferson, maintained control of the victim's property in her vehicle until she was arrested. Court documents also say Jefferson told authorities a Taurus .380 caliber pistol found in her vehicle belonged to her. Police believe the motive was robbery, but as far as the murder, the arrest warrant affidavit gives a hint, saying Jones and Garcia Torres worked at the same place and were seen leaving work together the evening he was murdered.
Why did he do this? He could have just taken the money, his wallet, but he took a lot from us.
Now, Mesquite police also tell me that Jones told investigators the gun found in his girlfriend's car was the murder weapon. They have yet to confirm that through different ballistic tests. In the meantime, Jones and Jefferson remain here in the Lou Sterrett jail, both of them charged with capital murder and being held on a $500,000 bond.
All right, so we have two charged in deadly shooting during a robbery in Mesquite man's driveway, right? This is Dallas News. This actually has been revised on Saturday, right? And this is how it reads. It says, a man and a woman were arrested Saturday in connection with a deadly robbery this week in Mesquite. Police said Brayshawn Terrell Jones, 22, and Shatora Deshawn Jefferson, 23, each face a capital murder charge in the death of Raul Garcia Torres. Garcia Torres, 50, was found shot around 6 p.m. Thursday in the driveway of his home in the 2600 block of Larchmont Drive. Police said he died later at the hospital. Police said detectives believe Jones and Jefferson followed hold on, one up on the phone here. Okay, they followed. Where'd it go? From work and shot him during the robbery. Police released a few other details, and it was unclear whether the victim knew the suspect. Jones was arrested on jail of a $1 million bail, while Jefferson's bail was set at $500,000. Police said. Okay, it says the arrest come a day after police released surveillance image of one of the suspects wearing a distinctive hoodie with the image of a Lucille Ball on the front. Anyone with information should contact Mesquite Police at 972-285-6336. We already got the suspects. I don't know why you need the number, right? So again, we don't advocate the violence. We don't congratulate the violence, but we say that again, poverty creates situations. And again, 23 coming up in this day and age, a lot of materialisms, right? Again, everything with technology and the I guess you want to say the thirst for materialism breeds a certain kind of, want. And when those wants can't be needed, well, then again, I guess it's going to be like stagecoaches. As this country gets its belt tightening more, and if you should live in environments or run across, it's kind of like an old Western movie with them stagecoach, there's a high probability that you can actually lose your life, and depending on what you got, may not be a lot, right? And with technology, after a while, again, we're talking about this thing, as I did a couple shows back, we're talking about, stop bringing that, Blue Angel thing, that whole thing about putting the technology back into your hand, right? So I guess people getting hands chopped off and all kinds of things. Again, this country had a chance to actually mend where maybe this would have been like, you could have took care of some of this. Now, this doesn't condone what they did. And then again, the Torres family, again, they're mourning, and again, they're feeling the pain of that. But again, we have to look at the fact that, again, people are not accessible to having employment. living in conditions that have been over times of history. And the only way they can see is, again, you know, saturations with movies and videos, and you know, the aggrandizement of certain type of music. Again, it seems like this is an easy way to make a quick buck. And so again, until you fix this issue about this will continue to be undiscriminated. We're going to be people of all kinds of colors and stripes that's going to get caught up in that. Everybody's going to be susceptible to this because everybody's going to can be a victim. I guess that's why they're trying to get everybody to be armed up, right? Kind of, again, like something the Western. You got your gun, you ready to draw, right? But does that really resolve the issue, or is it going to make things worse? So, you know, again, that story will be later on. Again, they actually giving them capital punishment. So they're going eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? In Texas, right? Hang a nigga Texas, right? You live in Texas and you don't be knowing the history of that place. You know, you're going to do some kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You need to be, you know, thinking about if you're going to do something. Again, my whole thought is if I was going to be a criminal out here and if I'm going to rob you, I'll think if I just get what I want from you and leave you alone, right? Then it's just the fact that I took what I took from you. But no, you know, a lot of movies have been before and talking about, you know, you don't leave a witness, right? Again, kind of like a Shaka Zulu thing. Right? Remember, that was what happened with Shaka Zulu, right? He didn't off the mug, right? Then end up coming back later. That was how it ended up getting him, right? So, you know, so everybody, this became the mantra. This is the theme now. Everybody saying no witnesses, right? So, man, it's a whole new world compared to those who've been around. Yes, people used to get stuck up, get robbed. You know what I'm saying? Remember that chain, homie, off that wallet. You know what I'm saying? You might even catch you a two-piece in the mouth, but you lived, right? But in this case, no. I want that, and you're going to take this, and I see you when I see you. It's not a good thing. So, yeah, we'll just have to just stay tuned. Again, the capital punishment. So I guess they're going to make examples, right? Kind of like, well, we'll get to that, right? I'll get to that story. So this is what I've seen here, right? Because, again, I've heard that term before. I heard that term being used on one of our ancestors. Again, some people kind of split with him. Some people said that what he did in his life is activism, but again, it might be a little tainted because people might say, well, maybe the direction that he was going was not what should have been done. And then there's some people who are for, again, anti and pro, depending on what side of the fence you is. But then this ended up happening, right? So I'm not going to have no music with that when that comes with it, because then they're going to take the video. So you're just going to get to see it, right? And we'll be right back. Check this out. All right. I didn't want to put there was a sound to it, but it was the music, but they end up try to freeze the whole video, so I'll make sure there was no sound on that one, right? So what you see on your screen, it says New York meteorologist fired after using racial slur on air. I'm going to say that again. New York meteorologist fired after using racial slur on air. This story was done January 8, 2019. Coming from CNN, and this is what it says. This article contains offensive language. A television station in Rochester, New York, fired a meteorologist Sunday after he used a racial slur on air. During WHEC TV's Friday evening broadcast, Jeremy Capel said Martin Luther Coon Park when referring to a downtown Rochester park named after the slain civil rights movement leader Martin Luther King Jr. In a video viewed by CNN, Capel says King immediately after using the slur and continued with the broadcast. Capel said he used the slur was a mistake caused by speaking too quickly. What happened on Friday to me is a simple misunderstanding. If you watch me regularly, you know that I tend to contain a lot of information in my weathercast, which forced me to speak fast, and unfortunately I spoke a little too fast when I referencing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so fast to the point where I jumbled a couple of words. In my mind, I knew I mispronounced, but there was no malice. I had no idea the way it came across to many people. He said in the video posted on Facebook Monday night. Capel said as soon as he heard the mispronunciation, he put emphasis on King and moved on. I had no idea what some people could have interpreted that as. I know some people did interpret that the wrong way. That was not a word I said. I promise you that. If you did feel that it hurt you in any way, I'm sincerely apologize, he says. Slur causes uproar on social media. Clips of Capel using the racial slur made the rounds on social media over the weekend, prompting Rochester Mayor Lovely A. Warren and the City Council to release a statement Sunday. It is wrong, hurtful, and infuriating that the WHEC Channel 10 broadcasts a racial slur in reference to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during its Friday news broadcast. Statement read, "It is beyond unacceptable that this occurred. There must be real consequences for the news personalities involved and also for the management team that failed to immediately apologize and address the slur." The mayor and city council called for Capitol's termination and for the examination of WHEC's response to the incident. It took the station nearly 2 days to apologize, and only after the station was shamed in doing so by backlash on social media, the statement read. The Rochester Association of Black Journalists also issued a statement Sunday condemning the use of the racial slur on air. The organization statement said it viewed a recording of the incident provided by a viewer. This is completely unacceptable and contrary to all standards of broadcasting. The statement read, "We expect a complete explanation of what happened, who was responsible, and why nothing was said immediately after the Friday's broadcast. We also want to know what measures will be taken to prevent incidents like this occurring in the future." WHEC Vice President and General Manager Richard A. Reingold said in a statement released Sunday that Capel was fired after an internal investigation and discussion. "I apologize for our broadcast of a racial slur in reference to Martin Luther King Jr. Park during our Friday evening broadcast," Reingold said. He added that the station believes in holding reporters and anchors to the highest standard. "These words have no place on News 10 NBC's air, and the fact that we broadcast them disheartens and disgusts me. That is what was caught immediately inexhaustible," Reingold said. Inexcusable, Reingold said. Reingold said the station decision to fire Capel was not influenced by the call from the city's mayor. We learned about this Sunday morning, unfortunately quite a while after the incident happened. The minute we learned about it, we jumped on it, he said on the air Sunday. We came to the decision we did something before I knew of Mayor Warren's position. I so welcome her position. I understand it, I respect it, but did not have any impact on our decision because we didn't know about it. Capel said in this video that he has been a meteorologist for 20 years. His LinkedIn page said he had been with the WHEC since October 2017. Capel said he was not satisfied with the station's response to the incident. I'm so disappointed that my career could end this way, and I'm extremely disappointed by my television station, who I expected a certain level of support from, and I did not receive at all, he said. All right. So again, as you know over here, when we see times when we hear that anti-Semitism, right? When people say things that against people of the Jewish religion, right? They kind of commingle and say that's a race, but that is just their religious practice. But when you say things that are there, they were anti-Semitic, you get labeled and things happen. Well, I guess anti-Negroism is about coming in second these days, right? You know, depending on when and the way, again, by us being on social media, having a voice these days and these numbers that we have. Because again, I was looking at something before I did the show tonight. I seen that it was, what was the show? They was talking about the R. Kelly, that little thing everybody talking about. Now, again, they said it was only about 1.6 million people who viewed that. And I said, 1.6 million? Shit, you got people over here who doing better numbers than that. That's a station. So I guess that's what's going to happen pretty soon. That you're going to have some of these, you know, channels that over here who got a nice flock, right? Can actually get a station. I guess YouTube will eventually turn it to that kind of, you know, broadcasting when you want to see something, because I guess TV dying when you still got to do stuff like as this dude here said. He tried to slip in the old Martin Luther Coon. Now he gonna say he's a meteorologist. He got a lot of information. You know, I try to get a lot of stuff out. And so as I kind of stumbled over, how do you get Coon? Where Coon and Martin Luther King? Because that was something that they said back. I actually have a book on the history of about that racial terms. I didn't find it tonight. I actually really didn't look for it hard. I should have did. Wait a minute. I might got it. Is that it right? No, that's not it. I got it because it's actually got the history of there was an actual person in government that sat there and said that, right? It was quoted from him saying that, and they end up start using that term, right? So for him to sit there and try to act as if like, well, it was something your interpretation, you were wrong. I didn't really say that, right? It's kind of like that thing that a couple of days, I wouldn't report nothing like that. We're talking about Sesame Street, and I don't know if it was Grover or it was Elmo. One of them said the F word. I kind of listened to it. I was like, I ain't hearing shit. But, you know what I'm saying? They said so. Now it's the speculation. It's kind of like that. Is the dress blue or is it white? You know, that kind of thing, right? But in the case here, people heard it. You know what I'm saying? And he thought it was slick. And the reason why they delayed, because they thought nobody was going to really catch it. You know how, you know, sometimes you're dealing with Caucasian folks. They're very good at connotative language. Right? That's what they do. They double speak, double talk, or under the breath, try to say some things that are slick. And again, if you have a trained ear as a whiteologist do, he catches it, right? And so that's what he did. He tried to be slick and tried to throw in, oh, Martin Luther Coon. Martin Luther King. I didn't mean to say that. Okay, well, anti-Negroism hits you. Well, your career for 20 years, find a new career, buddy. Right? Find yourself a new career. All right. Enough of that nonsense, right? There's always that. We're always going to have that. But again, we're starting to see in some instances that the social media power can have an outcome. Now we're not neck and neck with anti-Semitism, right? Because again, a black person, let's take Lamar Hill, right? And those who might advocate, and again, I don't have no horse in that race, but I'm just saying, when he said what he said, right? Matter of fact, I just did a story yesterday. Did you see what happened to Angela Davis, right? Her being pro for things about Palestinian, right? And now they about to set her up and give her an award. But then they was like, anti-Semitism came. It was like, well, you know, some of this would be indigestible at the dinner table to see her get an award. So we are thinking that you don't think need to do it. So guess what happened? They just canceled the whole event like it wasn't even happening, right? So here's a person who is black and gone through and fought so much and been in this country, but again, anti-Semitism trumps that, right? You know what I'm saying? They ain't got the market on when it comes to atrocity, supposedly, right? No one's atrocity has been greater or worse than theirs, right? So they got all the institutions for it. But all we got is the people, social media, to backlash and make things go viral and stuff and bring so much attention that, again, anti-Negroism can catch you in that way. So, again, keep vigilant and keep doing what we do out here because, again, we do have some power when we do what we do, right? Now, moving on. This one here I seen, and I was kind of like, well, you know, it's a lot going on. You know, I always do something international, right? But this one here, I was like, you know, I'm like, man, you know, again, as we talked about with those little brothers and sisters that end up killing Mr. Torres in the robbery, right? And the poverty, right? And then again, as I was kind of just, you know, making some this analogy or just talking about how to connect all that, right? Just saying that again, how you connect poverty to criminality and so forth, right? So let's look at a place like the continent, you know, Africa. Everybody knows the bountiful and the resourcefulness that it has there, but to see like the would you say indigenous natives, right, to the land, seem to be the ones who can't really benefit from it. And so what you see is a lot of people based on, you know, foreigners coming in and doing the land grab is making a lot of people doing the dash. And they're trying their ways to do, again, because a lot of them have dual citizen due to colonialism, right? And so they have a dual citizen, so they feel like, well, maybe it's better for us to go over here, right? So, okay, check this out and be right back, right? Check this out.
Where tensions with migrants are well established. Ouistreham is a sleepy fishing port 4 hours to the west, but it has 3 ferries a day to England, and that's why these young men are here. This isn't a one-off. It's happening every day and every night on every truck that passes through. They're mostly from Sudan, and almost all look like teenagers. On the edge of town, they sleep in the ditches. The police remove any tents they try to pitch. Every morning, they wait for the trucks to arrive. We follow one Bulgarian lorry. The first group manages to open the door, but none of them climb on. A little further on, the driver stops. He's clearly aware of what's just happened.
So you can see he's just closing the door there, but there are some of the guys who were trying to get on the truck are already making their way up here.
And seconds later, even before we were back in the car, they were past us and onto the truck. The route down to the port here is not like larger ports, Calais or Dunkirk, where motorways lead straight to the dockside. Here the trucks must snake through the town. It makes them much more vulnerable to this.
The police are there.
The police do what they can with the resources they have. Around our car, the young men don't like being filmed.
So even right in front of the police there, they're trying to get on.
In all, we counted 18 young men get on. Most got off again. But 4, maybe 5, it was hard to see, made it to the port entrance. There, where every truck is checked, 4 were discovered. We can't be sure, but it's possible one remained inside. A little later, a few of them agreed to talk to us.
How old are you?
I am 16.
Yeah.
I am 16.
You're 16, and you?
17 years old.
17, and you?
16.
16?
14.
14,
Yeah.
Okay. And you're all from Sudan?
Yeah, all from Sudan.
And why England?
England is good. Good.
How do you know England's good?
My family here, my brother, big in England.
Your brother is in England?
Yeah.
And how did he get to England? On the trucks?
Yeah, here.
Here?
Yeah.
He was here?
Yeah, in here I'm going England.
And he told you to come here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watch another truck's dash to the port. And then an exchange with some locals and a moment which demonstrates a divide over migration that stretches across this continent.
J'habite ici
Oui.
Et nous n'avons jamais été agressés. Bon, c'est vrai qu'il y en a beaucoup par moment qui courent après les camions. Mais sincèrement, on ne peut pas dire qu'il y ait des problèmes.
Vous agressé un jour comme moi à Paris.
Mais vous êtes à Paris, nous sommes à Riva.
Nous, on a pris des agressions. J'ai été agressée par 7 Arabes dans le métro parce que j'étais debout. Eux étaient assis, mais ils sont venus me boxer. Mon fils s'est fait balafrer au visage, madame. Vous ne savez pas ce qui va se passer.
So as they keep talking, it's quite clear that this is causing real tensions within this community, and you can see the migrants are continuing to gather as they do every day and every night all across this village.
They're not being helped by anyone but volunteers, nor are they being sent home. They're in a miserable, dangerous limbo, and driven by that basic human instinct that there must be something better over the horizon. Mark Stone, Sky News, in northern France.
¿Está el otro corta?
Venga, vamos a bajar.
Cógelo. Habrá que escribir. ¿Cómo ha sido? Porque tiene que escribir.
Vamos a abrir aquí, vamos a abrir.
Y el otro hay que bajar.
Vamos a abrir este primero.
Vete que te estoy grabando, ¿eh? Menores. ¿Cómo llaman?
¿Cuántos van? ¿Dos? Amigo, para el motor.
¿Está grabando, no? Espera ahí, señora, ¿vale? Cuidado. Mira en medio. Vamos, sal, mon ami. Sal, mon ami, sal. Sorti, mon ami. Sorti, mon ami. Vamos a ver. Dentro, vamos a correr, nada.
All right. They cut my mic, huh? Tried to cut my mic, didn't they? Well. Ain't that something, huh? 2 men discovered hidden inside mattress on van crossing from Morocco to Spain. You know I'm going to say that again. 2 men discovered hidden inside mattresses on van crossing from Morocco to Spain. This was done in the Independent, January 1st, 2019, and this is how it reads. 2 migrants have been discovered hiding inside mattresses strapped to the top of a van attempting to cross from Africa to Spain, prompting renewed concerns about the asylum rules in Europe. The men, reportedly of sub-Saharan origin, were arrested by border guards after they were discovered at a checkpoint between Melilla, a Spanish enclave on the North African coast, and Morocco, according to Spanish news site El Periódico. Footage shared on Twitter by Spanish Senator John Inaruto showed the men emerge from the mattress after men in Guardia Civil uniforms used a knife to cut through the fabric. It is thought to be the first documented attempt to smuggle people inside a mattress, according to the local media. As long as there are no safe routes to request asylum, situations like this will continue to occur in southern borders of Europe, Mr. Inarritu wrote alongside the video. A driver of the vehicle allegedly fled in Morocco before authorities could make an arrest. The 2 men were said to be in good health and did not require medical assistance. It comes after tech companies were accused of failing to crack down on people smuggling using their platforms to lure migrants to their deaths with the promise of safe passage to Europe. The UN said companies such as Facebook and WhatsApp were enabling criminal activity by traffickers who entrap victims who are unaware of the dangers they face. Meanwhile, there has been a surge in migrants attempting to reach the UK by crossing the channel in small boats, with more than 100 people intercepted by both British and French authorities while attempting to reach the UK from France since Christmas Day. But lawyers and campaigners have cautioned that the recent rise has been blown out of proportion, as the numbers arriving constitute a tiny portion of people coming to Britain to seek asylum. More than 100,000 people have arrived in southern Europe via unauthorized routes from Africa and the Middle East, and an estimated 2,262 are dead or missing after attempting the journey. So, I know Kabir Kabay, I know that you know what that is. That's history, right, sir? Morocco, Spain. That should bring a little light in your head, right? Used to be one time when the Moors ruled in Europe, right? So, you know, after the whole carving up of Africa in about the 1885, right? That those in the western part, or let's say the northern part, right? That's France territory, right? So again, that's the colonization that's created kind of a dual citizenship. But now with this recolonization that's happening, right? They came in the 60s, said, well, we're going to give you independence, right? Now they're coming back, we're going to renege on that. We didn't mean that, right? So now what you have is, again, with the foreigners coming in and putting in corporations and companies and, you know, again, spreading, expanding. Well, where does the indigenous go? Where do the natives go? They're not part of that equation. Again, we know that, you know, certain nations have paid, as they said, well, we're going to give you this money so that you can build the infrastructure. But again, as I told you on this show, you know how they kind of said at one point in time that they found that those in Egypt, they said that they paid them. They didn't really enslave them, they paid them. Well, I guess this was kind of what's happening. If you are good enough to get some of the money, you can kind of get some of the money to help them to build. But then when the bill is due and you can't pay, you won't be able to live there, right? So people, I guess, are looking at the passport against my dual citizenship and think the grass is greener, but actually you are actually making an exodus, right? You're actually making an exodus, and what you're really doing is you're getting out a lot of your young people. Think about that. A lot of them was like young teenagers asking the question, well, how old are you, you know? So a lot of them was like teenagers, young men. Right? So if you got the young men fleeing up out your country like that, so who's left behind? Right? And again, I was just reading a couple of days or so ago where France is now actually allowing them to come and join their military to get citizenship quicker. Oh, okay, so now you're going to be kind of have a conflict of interest because when they go back to the continent, guess who you're going to have to go against? Tell you, man, huh? Think about it. You know what I'm saying? The dual citizenship seems to be grass is greener, going to UK, going to England, going to Germany, going to France, right? But those numbers are coming out of the continent. And while you going out, somebody coming in, right? Again, I already told you what I done thought, or what I think. It's only a matter of time. Again, we probably going to be some of the last people to know that when that continent was a black continent, and, you know, as prosperity and news and time comes, when they rewrite it, they're going to say it was always there. I'll tell you, boy. Tell you. You know, I hear a lot of people, they talk about it, but they're like, man, I don't know how you going to do it. I don't know how you're going to rectify this situation, man. I really don't. So anybody who talking about that claim, I'm going to tell you, I got a claim right here in this land. I got nothing against the motherland. We just don't got what it take right at this point. And again, I know some people got some foregone conclusions. They talking about some things that by the time that happened, because man, like I said, the other day I did the show that I showed you that again when they said the motherfucker that was using, I'd go read what Princess Crest Weston said, right? About motherfucking being a baby, right? You the baby and the white man is the man. Well, he did that to the Chinese, and then the Chinese went to the damn moon, and he got a Moab bomb now, right? So he flexing too, right? So he's saying he just as bad as he is, right? So he up in there too, right? So it's like, man, everybody gutting it out slowly but surely. It's happening. It's happening. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I guess and boy, 100 years from now? Well, moving on, y'all. Moving on. Look at all who all in here. I got an extra person came in here. Welcome to the show. Hit that like button, dislike, comment, say you don't like it, whatever. It's all good. It'll be a Kabir on the fam in the house. Okay. Yes, 7-Eleven, sir. I know you know about 7-Eleven, the 1490, about 1492 or so. About a total of 400 and I think about 486 years. 786 years total, right? One day I will sit down and do that. Have you on there again. We can talk about some of that stuff there. So glad you're here. All right. So what else I got in the bag? Let's see what else I got in the bag here. Okay. Well, matter of fact, let's again. I look at this situation, right? And again, they try to make a little stance, right? They try to do something. Because again, they understand what's going on over there, right? And, you know, check this out. I ain't going to say no more. Let you see it first, then I'll come back.
First of all, let's get you some breaking news coming out of Gabon, where soldiers have taken over the national radio station. They've criticised President Ali Bongo Ondimba, who's been out of the country for medical treatment since October. Ali Bongo recently addressed the country in a New Year's message from a hospital bed in Morocco.
Le message à la nation du chef de l'État.
The message to the head of state, Ali Bongo Ondimba, is that the debate on his health has reinforced doubts about the president's ability to handle the heavy burden of the responsibilities of his office.
La patrie nous a tout donné.
The homeland has given us everything and made us the people we are. We cannot abandon it. So the patriotic movement of youth of the defense and security forces, in order to preserve the integrity of the country, has decided to take responsibility to stop the ongoing moves to seize power by those who, on the night of the disputed election in 2016, killed our young compatriots with the support of illegal and illegitimate institutions.
President Ali Bongo has been in power since 2009. Before that, his father, Omar Bongo, ruled the oil-rich nation for more than 40 years. Well, Nicholas Huck joins us now live from Nairobi. So, of course, the first obvious question, Nicholas, is what is going on? Is this a coup?
Well, Sammy, it appears like at least it's an attempt to remove Ali Bongo, or the Bongo dynasty, like you mentioned, that has been in power for over half a century, out of power. And this is led by young military soldiers, young officers that took over the national radio station early this morning while people were listening to the morning news. Members of the Presidential Guard took over the radio, held journalists hostage, and read this message to the people of Gabon, calling it an uprising against Ali Bongo. In this address, they call this Operation Dignity. In this operation, they're calling for ordinary Gabonese, young Gabonese, to take up arms, to take control of police stations, government office, in order to ensure that these presidential guards can remove Ali Bongo out of office. Now, they've called for the instauration of a transitional council, for a return to democracy. Now, of course, this is the early hours. This happened just a few hours ago. We've spoken to a few people on the ground, and they can hear helicopters hovering above Libreville, the capital of Gabon. There's soldiers manning checkpoints on the main avenue. Bear in mind that the radio station that they took over is just next to the National Assembly, and next to the National Assembly is the presidential palace itself. Of course, Ali Bongo is not in the country, and we're waiting to see his reaction to what is going on in his country.
Talking about reaction, has there been reaction from the political scene, from the government at all to this?
No, not yet. You know, the Bongo family have been in charge of this country for over a century. And in 2016, there was a contested election where Jean Ping, the opposition leader, claimed victory. Now, after that, the Constitutional Court took over, trying to address who won the election, and Bongo was maintained power. But ever since, there's been a sense, especially amongst young people in Gabon, a sense of discontent, not towards the economic situation, because Gabon's economy is doing fairly well, but towards freedom of speech, just basic rights that ordinary Gabonese people, young people especially, want to have. And they also want to see change. For many young people, they've only seen one family, one person in power for all their lives. So they want to see some sort of change. And Jean Ping tried to harness that during the 2016 election. Of course, he's failed to come to power. But there's been this growing resentment towards Ali Bongo, seen as someone that's removed from the people, not close enough to ordinary citizens and their grievances. It's important to note that this all started in October when Bongo had a stroke. And following that stroke, there's normally, according to the Gabonese constitution, he should hand over power to the president of the Senate. And that didn't happen. So it's unclear for ordinary Gabonese who is in control of Gabon. Of course, this is happening in Libreville, where there's a strong presence of the French, the former colonial power. They have 900 troops that are on the ground there, men from the Air Force. There's also 80 troops from the United States that are there deployed in order to help their citizens in neighboring Republic Democratic of Congo, where there's an election happening over there. So this is all happening underneath their gaze.
All right, Nicholas Huck there. Thanks so much.
All right. I think I have the article here for that. Let's see if I got the article for that. I got the article for that. I guess I didn't have the article for it, but I got the article. Okay, so I'm just have to read the article for you. It says Gabon coup, the power grab that wasn't. I say that again. Gabon coup, the power grab that wasn't. The government says the situation is now under control. This story was done in Africa World News. It was done January 7, 2019. And this is how it reads. It Says early on Monday morning, a uniformed officer took the airwaves of the state broadcaster. Flanked by two armed soldiers, Lieutenant Kelly Ando Abayang stated that the patriotic movement of the Defense and Security Force of Gabon was taking charge and called on fellow military units to seize transport infrastructure and key facilities. Simultaneous reports appeared of shots fired near the broadcaster in central Libreville, and military trucks were seen driving at speed through the streets. All eyes turned on the small West African nation in the throes of what appeared to be a coup. Except it wasn't. The coup backers consist of just 5 junior soldiers, and no wider plot had apparently swept the ranks of the country's military. Although authorities now say that the plan to check for sympathizers among the army generals, civil society, and opposition leaders mentioned in the rebels' statement. 4 were arrested quickly, and the 5th was found hidden under a bed. Situation is calm. The gendarmes, who are often stationed there, have taken control of the entire area around the radio and TV headquarters, so everything is back to normal, said government spokesman Guy Bertrand Mupango. The men claim to be seizing power to restore democracy in a small oil-rich nation of just 2 million people, whose ailing leader had been receiving treatment in Morocco following a stroke last year. In an attempt to ease fear surrounding his health, President Ali Bongo, 59, appeared in the New Year's address to the nation. In their coup declaration, the soldiers called the president's message a pitiful sight. It had reinforced doubts about the president's ability to continue to carry out of the responsibilities of his office, said Lieutenant Obayang. Since taking power in 2009, Mr. Bongo's term in office has been overshadowed by investigation into embezzlement by France, the former colonial power. He has also been condemned for his membership of the Freemasons, whose Gabonese chapters he leads. While the coup attempt doesn't appear to have been organized by the military leaders, it did tap into a mode of dissatisfaction among some. About 300 people gathered around the state broadcasters after the news broke, although they were soon dispersed by police who fired tear gas. Otherwise, the streets of the capital remained quiet. All right, so again, as we seen earlier, what we seen again, as I was talking about those young men that were, again, they was talking about crossing from Morocco and Spain, right? Trying to get up out of there, right? Again, you know, either you part of the military, you part of the government, right? You know, otherwise, well, how are you going to survive, right? So people are trying to, again, using that dual citizen, as I was talking about France, right? And so we see that there's some young men that's part of the military trying to come up with a grandiose idea. Say, man, hey, this dude is, you know, again, they talking about he's embezzling money. And we don't like the way it is. Look like we can see. Just because people are young don't mean that they don't understand. Maybe they can't articulate it as deep, but they don't understand how to put one and one together and understand that's two. And so here we are, we kind of train, we military, so let's try to, you know, do something. Now, again, how do we know, again, because this is what's being said. We don't know if it was a real coup or not. But, you know, they're going to downplay it, right? But the point is, they decided to try to do something, for the betterment, because they said they want democracy. Now, again, you know, to me, it's a lot of play on words on that, because, I mean, democracy, again, how you have the understanding of it, but again, in this application, we understand there's always the unfair and imbalance of that. We end up finding being plutocracy, aristocracy, all those, but it don't be democracy, right? Be everything else but that, right? And so, you know, again, there's some things to be sought and looked at again. From us, we looking at things and just, okay, take a note on that. Take a mental note on that, right? That's all you can say. Take a mental note on that, right? So some people, again, trying to make some changes. Again, it got foiled, again, because it was not, again, it was, as they said in the article, they were low level, right? Because, again, you higher up, you don't get those kind of positions. Again, they know who you understand? You rarely get a spook that's set by the door in that position to do something like that, right? So at that level that they're claiming that they're low level, they just, you know, they had a grandiose idea, and Couldn't see the fruition of it. At least that's what they tell us, right? And maybe there'll be some more to that story as time go on. Again, what I do over here, I'm not, see, like some, places that disseminate the news, they go into all the politics. Nah, that's for you to do. I just bring the story to bring it to your attention so that you be like, oh, you know that. So again, if you're more interested in it, then you go do more research. I did mine. I just give it to you so that you could do. I got too much to do. You know how long it would take if I did all that? So again, I just lay it out for you. So anyway, I hope you appreciate that. So, moving on. We getting to what part of the show where we at now? We at the almost hour 45 mark. And, well, this one here, right? Well, this goes back to, all that stuff that took care of Charlottesville. Remember all that stuff? And then remember there's one particular aspect about a little brother. They beamed him up. Beam him up. He got beamed up, right? They jumped him up, beat him down, right? Well, I seen this here. And this what happened today based on what had transpired back then. So let me give you the visual and we'll be right back. Well, make sure that's all good. Make everything good. We want to make it good. All right, there we go. So, go and click that and we'll be right back.
Also are learning a great deal more about Daniel Borden's background and the years that he lived in Mason and Centerville. 9 on your side's Tom McKee has just gotten court records showing numerous brushes with the law. He's live with the latest details at the Mason Police Department. Tom?
Well, that certainly is right. We just got these documents a very short time ago, and there are 7 contacts between Daniel Borden and Mason Police Department. 2 of them resulted in charges. Now, the most serious happened in 2014 when he was accused of disorderly conduct for statements made about a shooting that might happen at Mason High School. Now, of course, this is the picture that started this all from Charlottesville. The result of the background checks on Daniel Borden. He's on the right among 3 men allegedly beating an African-American male in a parking garage. The disorderly conduct charge said the shooting was going to happen on February 12th and that friends shouldn't go to school that day. When questioned about why he himself wasn't in school, his reply was because he didn't want to go, followed by, "I don't like anyone at that school, but I would never shoot it up." Now, the report continued with new information. There were weapons in the house, but only his mother had a key to the lock boxes where they were kept. Now, written statements from classmates included in those reports indicate they didn't take it seriously. They just thought it was Dan being Dan. But of course, police did, and they filed that disorderly conduct charge. Tom McKee, 9 on your side, live in Mason.
It didn't show the second one, right? I don't know why that didn't play. So again, I might just give you the article because there was another video today. I guess they don't want to show that one because that was going to show the tiki. I was going to show you when they was doing run out there with them torches, right? They didn't want to see that. It kind of hid that. You think about it. Remember when they was doing the Charlottesville, they was out there walking with the torches and shit, looking like a Frankenstein moving and going to kill Frankenstein. Remember that? They don't show that video too often, right? I got that, but it won't play for some odd reason. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and read the article. It says that the assailant sentenced for beating black man in Charlottesville. I'm going to say that again. Assailant sentenced for beating black man in Charlottesville. This story was done today, January 8, 2019, coming from the CBS News. This is how it reads. It says, Charlottesville, Virginia. An Ohio man was sentenced Monday to just under 4 years in prison for his role in beating of a black man the day of a white nationalist rally in Virginia 2017. Daniel Borden was sentenced to 20 years, but most of that sentence was suspended. His active sentence among amounts to 3 years and 10 months. Borden of Hubbard Heights, Ohio, was one of 4 men charged in the August 12, 2007 beating of Andre Harris in Charlottesville. Harris suffered a broken wrist, lacerations that required staples in his head. The beating was captured on video, which went viral. New York journalist and activist Sean King led a social media-based effort to identify the attackers. Last year, Borden entered in a Alford plea to malicious wounding. The plea means Borden did not admit guilt, but acknowledged prosecutors had enough evidence to convict him. 2 others were convicted last year for their roles in the assault. Alex Ramos was sentenced to 6 years and Jacob Goodwin was sentenced to 8 years. Another man, Tyler Watkins Davis, pleaded not guilty to a charge of malicious wounding in October and is expected to stand trial next month, according to the Daily Progress. Harris was also charged with a misdemeanor count of assaulting a white nationalist but was acquitted in March. Local news outlets reported the judge in that case said it was clear Harris didn't intend to harm the man who made a complaint against him. During Borden's sentencing hearing Monday, WVIR-TV in Charlottesville reported Borden told the judge he is not a bigot and is remorseful. He also apologized to Harris, who was not in the courtroom. As with all prosecutions surrounding the August 12, 2017 attack of DeAndre Harris, this office is hopeful that today's outcome brings some measure of solace and closure to him and the community at large. Commonwealth attorney Joseph Platina said after Borden was sentenced, the Unite the Right rally has been organized by white nationalists in part to protest the planned removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. The day was marked by violence. 1 woman was killed and dozens were injured when a car driven by James Alex Field, Jr. of Morney, Ohio, plowed into a crowd of people who gathered to protest the white nationalists. Field, 21, was convicted of first-degree murder and other charges last month. The jury recommended a sentence of life plus 419 years sentencing is scheduled for March 29th. Okay, so that was going back to 2017. Well, again, the whole thing about that Charlottesville, right? And that was a young brother that, remember, everybody kind of seen that. If you did remember that, I had that to play, but they're not going to actually show you the emotion anymore unless you actually had captured it, right? He beat the little brother to a pulp. He had to put some staples and stuff in his head, you know what I'm saying, broken wrists, and a whole lot of things. And so, again, this individual actually was supposed to got 20 years, right? But the little term they used, it was a little slick term they used, right? Did you hear that little slick term they did? Where he pleaded to the prosecution, right? He had enough, right? What they called it he entered Alford plea. It's called ALFORD. Now keep that in mind, black folks. You might use that one day. Alford plea to malicious wounding. The plea means Borden did not admit guilt. See, he didn't admit that he did it, but acknowledged prosecutors had enough evidence to convict him. So, again, he won't admit that he did it, but the term will allow him that, will he be able to get that expunged or something? You know how that works. I'm going to have to do some research on that Alford plea. Somehow, again, some kind of little trick in the system, right? Little terms and stuff, right? So we're not going to damage him for the rest of life. He'll do his three bid, and 20, right? And then he'll get out and then, be like nothing have happened. Somebody that'll get that probably, sealed or some stuff like that because he didn't plead guilty and so forth. I'm pretty sure there's a trick to it, right? Matter of fact, I got my Black's Law Dictionary. I could look it up right. I got another room. I could have pulled it up right now. Let me see what that says about this Alford law, right? This Alford plea, right? So anyway, I guess, again, anti-niggerism pays in some form or fashion, but maybe not to the fullest extent. Again, they were talking about the individual had a lengthy background about some things he had done, but again, that didn't come into play. Got suspended for not getting the whole 20. Now, again, the man did get killed, but again, what I didn't hear was a hate crime. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that either, did you? Well, it was a hate part in that. Because, I mean, the way y'all was beating him, and then it was down there about this national, again, it was out there with the tiki torch, right? It was all about nationalism, right? Then again, talking about the Robert E. Lee statue and the whole thing, and then, you know, the young lady got killed, right? So, what was the hate crime in this? And then see that nowhere in that, right? So, just beat a black man, and I won't admit to it, and it was by accident. I apologize. Right? I threw my 3 and get out of here. Okay, right? So, again, reporting that, right? I had another video, but I don't know why that wouldn't play, though. Okay, but anyway, we're going to move on. I got an extra person in the house. Anybody is a fam in the house? Let's see what the person got in the house. Let's see what's on here. Just Kabir in the house. I got a couple other people. I don't know who in here, but it's all good. Hit that like button, that dislike button, and put that comment saying, Mr. Blowman, I think you full of shit or BS. You do that too. It's all welcome here. We don't block over here. Everybody's opinion is good as mine, right? So, okay. Moving on. Got a couple more. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark. So let's see here. Well, let's hear this story here. A little change of pace. Right, a little change of pace. I read this story and I was like, damn, that's a lot of money for a damn fish. Did y'all see that story? About this tuna? Right? They paid about $1.6 million for an auction for a big blue tuna, right? But again, look where they're getting the fish from, right? Well, let me play this right quick. Let me go and do it anyway, because again, it's a lot to get to that one aspect of it, but something I could have found on that. So let's do this and get back. Okay, let me play this and get right back. Oh, that won't play either. Whoa, what's going on here? I don't know. I can't play that either, huh? Okay, so can't play that one, y'all. I guess you have to look that up. Look at, there was a fish that was purchased, blue tuna was purchased for $1.6 million by a Japanese, but they getting that water out of that Pacific water. You know all that Fukushima over there, huh? Yeah, everybody want to talk about that Fukushima and about how that toxic is in that water, all that radiation in that water. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure California, matter of fact, go back to about 2013, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about some of that contamination was up in that water up in California, right? I mean, that ain't just going away, even though just because nobody's talking about it. We got a sister that does a lot of that. Her name is the Radical Home Goddess. She got maybe 2, 3, and 4 channels, right? She does a lot on that topic, you understand? And so, again, you know, this big blue fish, I mean, paying $1.6 million, but this mug, I don't think he can eat it. Now, with all that shit in there, right? But go ahead, right? Like a matter of fact, I could do the article on that, right? But you don't want to hear that. Well, let me get to this part here. Cause this here, let's get it on. Let's get it on, right? This here, I seen this story today. I was like, okay, it's coming, huh? Oh, they making their moves, right? You know, they getting everything set up politically. They got Nancy Pelosi in her position. They got the, you know, position that they're in. And then today they bust this story out. Now again, hopefully this is playing because the other ones didn't play. What the fuck going on here, man? Let me see. Hopefully, no, won't play either. Well, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Really? Hold on, y'all. That's too many. So that means everything else ain't gonna play. No, hold on. No, we're not gonna do that. Y'all not gonna get away with that one. I knew something was up. Like, wait a minute, these motherfuckers, all these stories, what's going on? What's really going on here? All right, so let me see. I think they trying to pull a fast one on me. All right, so hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me check something because all of a sudden now the rest of them not working. I guess you're sitting up in here, right? Yeah, back in beside you, because you know I'm getting to the nitty gritty, right? Let me check something right here. Let me see if I can. Let me get them up again because I guess that was a sign for me to know. I started seeing I couldn't get story after story after story. There's a problem here. All right, so let's see here. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me do a quick search. See if I can pull them back up. Because obviously somebody definitely don't want me to do that. Okay, I got that one. Okay, hold on. I got that one. And what about this one? What about the next one? Come on. It'll be meant to be. It'll be meant to be. Let's see. Can I get it? Let's see. Come on. Come on. No, that's that one. No, come on. See. That's why, you know, I'm the most hated show, because I pull things that you ain't supposed to be keeping your mind on. At least that's what they think, right? And so you ain't probably looking at this. So let me see if they look like they might have gut that out, y'all. Hold on. Let me see. Just be a little patient. I got it. I'm working in real time. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. No, they showing that. They don't need that. Hold on, come on. Come on. You gave me one of them. I don't need the rest of them. Where the rest of them at? Come on. All right, let's see. All right, got that one. That's one. All right, that's one. Now where the other ones at? I got to be closing on them. Okay, if I can pull it off, that'll be. It was meant to be. If not, that's toe up. If it's not, okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, got two. Uh-oh. I got two of them. All right, I might be on the right path, y'all. Hold on. One more second. One more second. Appreciate y'all patience. But sometimes technical difficulties make you have to work, and you know, you gotta be able to do it in real time. Okay, hold on. I even got that story that I was just talking about. The fish came up too. All right, so I got that back. Hold on one second. Hold on. We just backtrack it. That's all. I might be able to pull it off. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I don't need that one. Where is that one at? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Damn, boy, they really was doing it, huh? They was in, damn, boy, y'all be working it behind the scenes, huh? Oh, shit, where are they? Okay, so you went in and took that one out and this here, huh? All right, so I might be able to still pull off the last, let's see, hold on. One more. All right, so I can't, okay, so what I can do is, okay, all right, so I got them two and that one. All right, so I'm going to go back. Well, fuck it, we don't need to do that one. I can't do, fuck, I guess I'm going to have to go right to it, huh? I'm going to have to go right to it. I'm going to have to end up in the show after this one, huh? Let's see. Fuck it, he ain't even on there either. All right, well, fuck it, grand finale time. Fuck it, this is this one here. All right, fuck it, let me go and do it. Cause this one here, y'all, this one here. All right, let me go ahead and tell it to give it to y'all right now. All right, let me go and set it up. I had to work on that one. That one was they was working on it. All right, so check this out. All right, I had a couple more that was gonna do. Since they took them out, whatever happened, that somehow they malfunctioned. But the 1, 2 that they didn't allow me to get back is where we at now. You know, everybody has been talking about R. Kelly, right? Everybody been talking about R. Kelly and about all that again. Not have no horse in the race. I'm not neither pro for it, you know what I'm saying? That's not my business. I think a lot of that stuff has already been known. But I think somebody decided it was a good time to bring it up, right? Just like the Kevin Spacey thing, right? Okay, they bringing all this up, right? So, you know, the inquisitiveness that I have, I was like, well, what is it that they diverting the attention? Because I always understood that. and they get everybody looking over here, then what about over there? So I started looking over there while y'all was looking over there, right? And I said, well, what's really going on, right? Well, this is why everybody's focused on what they talking about. Like, it seems like the whole internet is all up on R. Kelly, right? And again, we're not condoning, you know, whatever took place. Again, I didn't see no Lifetime. I ain't watched that shit, right? I ain't okay. I hear everybody do what you do. Y'all can have that. That was throwing up an alley-oop, but everybody go eat off that, right? So I was like, okay. Everybody, okay, I got people just talking. Okay. Well, this is the other side. This is where they didn't want you looking at, huh? This is what they did not want you to see. What you talk about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Well. This is what they talking about right here, y'all. Check it out. Hold on.
Cardinal Philippe Barberin, one of the most prominent Catholic figures in...
Hold on. No. Oh, no. We're going to do it right now. Don't do it now. No, not now. This is the time we're going to get it right, all right? We're going to get it done. It got to be done now. So let's get it, huh? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. Hold on, no. We want that right on T. We want that right on key. All right, this is what they hiding, y'all. This is it.
Cardinal Philippe Barberin, one of the most prominent Catholic figures in France, is accused of covering up church child abuse. He's been charged with failing to report a priest who abused Boy Scouts in the 1980s and 90s.
Let the light be shed, let reprehensible acts be judged, debated and acknowledged. This could make a significant advance in child protection, not only in the church, but in general, because it is a social problem that does not only affect the Catholic Church.
The Cardinal faces up to 3 years in prison and a fine of $54,000 if convicted.
I think there's a difference between errors and criminal misconduct. Mistakes made, of course, by him or by others, do not mean that, on an individual level, he is criminally responsible, and even less that he's guilty. This is what we hope to see emerge from today's debate.
As the Cardinal fought allegations in France, Pope Francis was addressing the issue of church sex abuse in his annual speech to ambassadors to the Vatican.
Here I can't refrain from speaking of one of the plagues of our time, which sadly has involved some members of the clergy. The abuse of minors is one of the vilest and most heinous crimes conceivable. Such abuse inexorably sweeps away the best of what human life holds out for innocent children and causes irreparable and lifelong damage.
The trial follows a year of shame for the Catholic Church. In June, Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, the former Archbishop of Washington, was removed from office. A church investigation found allegations he abused a minor in the 1970s were credible. In August, a US grand jury in Pennsylvania released a report accusing more than 300 priests of sexually abusing more than 1,000 children over the past 70 years. And in September, a report by Germany's Catholic bishops said there were at least 3,677 cases of child sex abuse by the clergy between 1946 and 2014. As the scandals unfolded, Pope Francis faced growing criticism for responding too slowly to the crisis.
He hasn't moved quickly enough on it, but I think that he's moving with an institution that is 2,000 years old. And I think he's pushing the institution more quickly than it would naturally go. I think there are still people in the church who would quite like to sweep the abuse scandal under the carpet, and we just can't do that. It has to be dealt with.
The Pope is now promising decisive action. He's summoned bishops from around the world for a crisis meeting in February on clergy sex abuse. It's an unprecedented step in the history of the Church, but a step many say has come far too late. Sarah Morris, TRT World.
All right. Now you know. Now you know. Cardinal on trial in France's biggest Catholic sex abuse case to date. You know I'm going to say that again. Cardinal on trial in France, biggest Catholic sex abuse case to date. This story was done January the 6th, 2019 from CBS News, and this is how it reads. Lyons, France. A Catholic cardinal and 5 other people went on trial Monday accused of covering up for a pedophile priest who abused Boy Scouts. France's most important church sex abuse case to date. The case poses a new challenge to the Vatican amid growing demands in overwhelmingly Catholic France from a reckoning with decades of sexual abuse by the clergy. Cardinal Philippe Barbending, or Barbarin, 68, appeared in Lyons Court Monday along with other senior church officials accused of failing to protect children from alleged abuse by Reverend Bernard Praynat. The top Vatican official in charge of sex abuse cases, Cardinal Luis Ladera, is among the accused, but won't appear in court because the Vatican invoked his diplomatic immunity. After taking his seat in the front row, Barbarin held his hands together, closed his eyes as if in prayer. The judge then read out the lengthy accusation against the defendant, and the defense used procedural arguments to try to get the case thrown out. 9 people who had said Praynat abused them in the 1970s and 1980s brought the case to court and hope it marks a turning point in the efforts to hold the French church hierarchy accountable for hushing up abuse. The victims say top clergy were aware of Praynat's actions for years, but allowed him to be in contact with children until his 2015 retirement. Despite nationwide attention to the case, it may fall apart for legal reasons. Prosecutors initially threw out it for its insufficient evidence, and Barbarin maintains his innocence. His lawyer said his client never obstructed justice because the statute of limitations had passed on the acts in question by the time Barbarin was informed. Accusing an innocent man doesn't advise or advance a cause, lawyer Jean-Felix Lucani said. If found guilty of failing to report the priest's actions, the defendant could face up to 3 years in prison and a €45,000, which is $51,300 fine. Barbarin and some other defendants are also charged with failing to assist a person in peril. The case is a new test for the Pope Francis, whose handling of clergy sex abuse cases has threatened his legacy and thrown the Catholic hierarchy into a credibility crisis. Francis has praised Barbarin as brave and said French justice should take its course. The priest Praynat now is 70, wrote letters to some families confessing the abuse and is to be tried separately on sexual violence charges involving 10 children. One of his alleged victims, Alejandra Hiza, hailed the trial as an effort to move justice forward. Hizi, 44, spoke to the Cardinal directly about Praynat and among those who brought the case to trial. Barbarin sought counsel on how to handle abusive accusations against Praynat from the Vatican officials. Cardinal Ladera, who recommended disciplinary measures while avoiding a public scandal. Numerous child sex abuse claims have been made against the Catholic clergy in France since the 1990s, but there hasn't been a huge wave like those seen in the United States, Ireland, or some other countries. Barbarin is the highest level French church figure accused of covering up abuse. In this case, has cast a shadow over the diocese and the French Catholic Church. As a result of the Bishop of France last year created an ambitious commission aimed at shedding light on sexual abuse of minors in the church since 1950. A report is due in 2020. But the issue is divisive. An outspoken French priest, Reverend Pierre Vignon, started a petition urging Barbier to resign that garnered more than 100,000 signatures last year. Vignon said the effort has damaged his church career. Barbier is among the most powerful figures in the Catholic Church, one of some of 200 cardinals worldwide and Archbishop of Lyon since 2002. Multiple cardinals have been accused in recent years of shielding abusers or committing abuse themselves, from Pennsylvania to Australia to Chile. All right. There you go. That's why the story of R. Kelly is out. That's why it's out. Not that we're condoning it, but again, the focus was not to put the attention on what was taken over there in Lyons, France. The years of back of, I mean, did you see the numbers that was said in that video? 3,000. It was, and years. This going. Somebody told me it's going to the 70s, huh? That's 40, almost 50 years ago. So they didn't want that brought to the attention, right? Too big to fail, right? Again, what the symbolism of the institution represents, right? And so if, according to those scriptures, it talks about if the truth is to be in the scriptures, how can that be so? And then the people who are supposed to be the upholders, supposedly, right, can be doing what they doing. So of course it's ugly. Of course it stains. But it has been going on for too long. And then, as you say, the article sat there and said, well, they even big in Australia and United States. Really? Well, I guess, you know, if you go back to the election, right? And you remember some of the campaigns about some of the stuff that was being talked about. Again, they don't even talk about a lot of that stuff anymore. Again, they were talking about Pizzagate, right? And all that, and talking about draining the swamp and all that other thing, and talking about, you know, the emails and all that stuff. And, you know, a lot of that stuff got squashed, right? A lot of that stuff got squashed because they say, hey, it got reverted, you know, talked about other things, talking about, you know, Snowden and, you know, a whole lot of other things, right? Diverted all that off of that, right? Matter of fact, I even remember reading that too long ago that, man, I remember that it was the Pope and the Queen that got arrested about, you know, this whole stuff, right? So again, like I said, I bring it for you to go do your own research. You can't say you didn't know by coming over here, because again, that's what we do. We bring news. Again, we're not biased. We have no agenda. Again, sometimes it might be a little bit more one side than the other, but again, you can't say that I don't get both when it's presented and when it's out there. Well, we at the 2:15 mark, y'all, again. Based on the fact I tried to come on earlier and they did everything to get me off. I guess there's no kids, so I guess nobody wants that to be seen, but this is grown folks' time, so I guess it's okay to have done it, because I guess I won't know until I see the replay to see whether you heard me or not, right? So let me look who out there once again before we get up out of here. Let me see what I got up in the house. And I want to thank everybody who stopped by tonight. All right, look like, whoa, it's been freezing, huh? Thank Yahya Abdul Kabir, my Moroccan Moor brother in the house, right? Chew on some of that Moroccan stuff, boy. You get up in the couch, get yourself over there. Right, get yourself up in the couch, right? So again, I want to thank everybody who came out, do a favor for a brother, hit that like button. Let me hold something, right? I gave you some information again. Now you find out why you got diverted around here, right? You got diverted. Nothing wrong with it. Again, I get it, right? You get it. I mean, you know, that can damage the faith of a lot of people to find that out, right? A lot of people could be like, oh, you know, so kind of keep it on the hush-hush. But again, this public information. It's not like I'm going to top secretness, going and stealing some, you know, I'm in Watergate getting some stuff I shouldn't be getting. I ain't what this is all public information. I understand that sometimes they don't want to report it, but again, I consider myself to be somewhat of black media. So again, I see things that will be beneficial for us to understand. Maybe not so much to scrutinize, but at least we just know, right? And so, I thank everybody for coming out again, once again. You know what I talk about over here, about us, again, being the DOS. You see one another, give that universal nod. Brother or sister, don't matter, right? Because John Henry Clark said, all we got is us, right? And that, you know, as these times get harder and things start to reveal itself, you understand, this place, they said inhabitants of devil is probably going to get wilder. So we got to hang on, because it's going to get bumpy, because we got that moon coming pretty soon too, right? That's going to be another one of the signs, right? So again, I got a book about spells, and I'll have to relate some of that information to y'all about that. So again, I want to thank everybody. It's Mr. Blows Your Mind, your whiteologist, bringing you another thought-provoking show. Until the next time, next show, peace, love, and hair grease and all that. And as this show is trying to get a little better and be more thorough, I will open up them phone lines, because I don't want to be the only one talking. Again, I only do generalization and skim, and then I give it up. But I don't get into that. I'll allow that for the audience when it's appropriate. So again, thank everybody. Till the next show, black love and peace and all that. So go ahead and get it up out of here. Hit the intro, and let's call it a night.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on! And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance, good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. But good news for the sheep might be bad news to the world.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1840, only hit 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 ones before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 ones before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to bits! You can't make me do anything like prick! Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslim. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty
knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy. I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.